Are you listening? Damn.
What's up, guys? It's Alec from Blackhouse Vapor Company coming at you today with a pod system review. This time we're going to be reviewing the Caliburn by Uwell. Let's see if we can get this to focus. It's always a struggle. There, maybe. Let's just do a little bit of this. There it is. The Caliburn by Uwell. So let's get right into it. All right, I'm going to start off with what's in the box with this Caliburn. So you got to slide it out of its sleeve, and then once you open it up, you will see it comes with the Caliburn itself, which we'll pull out of the box for now and put it to the side. And then we're going to get a little box of peripheral goodies on the side here. It's going to be a USB, very short, unfortunately, USB cable, but still nice that they include that. And then an extra pod. So although it only says on the box that you get one pod, you do get two, because you get one in the device and then you get an extra on the side. So 2 pods, which is a nice value, nice bang for your buck there. So that's literally everything that comes in the box, besides a little tiny instruction manual that tells you how to fill it, what the LED button or what the LED lights mean, the different colored LED lights mean, and how to prime it, warranty details, and that's it. Super simple, very basic user's manual. But hopefully with a pod system this simple, we won't need to really dip into the user's manual too much. Okay, so that's what comes in the box with the Caliburn. Now let's talk about the device itself. So the easiest thing to do here is going to be comparing it with another very popular device. That's going to be the Juul. So in terms of size, you can see here, if I put them flush on the bottom, Caliburn's going to be just a little bit taller. It's a bit thicker, probably maybe not quite double the thickness of the device. So if you can see that there, but almost double the thickness, a little bit taller, a tiny bit wider, but this thing is only 1 ounce, so it doesn't weigh too much. In fact, they weigh pretty much the same, but it is going to be a little bit bigger. It's totally still pocketable, but it's definitely bigger than the Juul. So just keep that in mind for comparison's sake. I wanted to give you something. You know, I can always list off the sizes in millimeters, but I don't think that ever really does it justice. I think that comparing it with something that you know is going to do a little bit better in terms of putting it into perspective how big this thing is. Definitely still pocketable, definitely still manageable, but it is a little bit bigger than the Juul. It's got this nice tapered edge on it. I don't know if we're going to be able to really catch this. Let's see if we can pull the focus here. See that little, it's almost like a crown molding edge. That's what I would call it. Like, it's got some ridges on each edge, which actually is kind of nice. The texturization of that lets you, it makes it a little bit easier to hold, a little bit harder to fall out of your hand with just a tiny bit of extra grip. It's not texturized or anything by any means. It's just bare metal on the outside, but that just gives you a little bit more grip on the device, which is nice. You do have a little juice window on the side as well, so you can see how full your pod is. Again, don't know if we're really going to be able to catch this, but let's try. Just a little juice window right there so that you can see how full your pod is, see when you need to refill it. Although it is really not too difficult to just pull the pod out and check it, put it back in. It's got 2 different mechanisms to hold the pod in. One is going to be some clips that once you click it down in there, you can hear it click. That click means that it's in there well and that it's not going to be coming out. This thing isn't difficult to get out, but it's certainly not easy, and it won't just be popping out all on its own. I've dealt with a lot of pod systems in the past where the pod will just pop out. If it's in your pocket, or if you pull it out too fast, or if you're waving it around like this, your pod's just going to go flying across the room. With this device, that's certainly not the case. You've got magnets at the bottom of this guy that are going to hold it in place, and you've got the little clicking mechanism, little clips, I think it's just a little extruded piece of plastic in there that helps keep it down in there, and once it's flush, you know it's not going anywhere. So that's quite nice. You'll notice that while this is a pod system, God, this black's really hard to see. Ah, there you go. You can see there's a little button there The button on the front is going to be 5 clicks to turn it on, 5 clicks to turn it off, and you can use the button to hit the device, although there is also just a pull to fire functionality as well. You just need to pull through the device, you don't need to press the button, and you will receive vapor. Now, the button's a nice kind of secondary feature in case the pull to fire does go out, but you don't need to use it, and I must say it is a little bit inconvenient that I have to turn off a device that is pulled to fire. That means that even though I don't need to use the button to fire the device, I need to use the button to turn it off before I put it in my pocket. Otherwise, there is a possibility that the button is going to cause the device to fire in my pocket. It's a little bit unfortunate, although I see pros and cons to the button. I can go both ways with that. I like it and I don't like it at the same time. So I'm just going to call that a draw on this one. The pod itself is going to be a 2 milliliter pod, and it fills in kind of an interesting way. It's a little bit sneaky, actually. If we focus in on my hand here, it fills by pulling this guy off, which can be a little bit difficult, but it's just this little top cap, and it's a top fill. It just pulls off like that. Now, if you're someone who struggles with coordination, I know a lot of people that vape are in that boat where they might have some sort of disability, they might have some sort of issue with their hands where they have difficulty doing small motor function skills or small motor function actions, and that's definitely one of those where it's a little bit difficult to pull this cap off, so be warned if you're one of those people that struggles with those little minute maneuvers with your fingers. That can be a little bit difficult. My method here is to put my thumb and my pointer finger at the bottom, and when this cap's on, I just take my thumb and pointer finger of my other hand, and I kind of wedge the two. I wedge my fingers against themselves to kind of just click the pod off, and then you can fill it. The fill ports on this thing are awesome, super large. For any sort of Nic salt bottle, they're going to be plenty, and you get 2 of them. So one's to evacuate air, one's to fill. Whichever side you choose doesn't matter, but it means you're not going to get the bubbling, the gurgling, and where you have juice overflowing, which always happens if you only have one fill port. So having 2 is an awesome extra feature, a nice little, something that shows that the company actually does care, which Uwell is very experienced with building all sorts of different devices, and they definitely made it just fine with this device. With the LED indicator, we've got, I do quite like, although I've mixed feelings about the button. I love the LED indicator. A lot of these pod systems don't have an LED indicator for some reason. This one is going to be green if you're at full battery. It flashes when you turn it on, and then it's just gonna, if you fire it, it's gonna light up. Green means your battery is basically full. Blue means you're somewhere in the middle. Red means you're getting close to the end of your battery life. So that's something to keep in mind, something that's really nice. I really do like that additional feature. Something that, again, they're just keeping the customer, they're keeping the consumer, the vapor, in mind when they built this device. The coils in these pods last a pretty decent amount of time. I've heard reports that they last as little as about 7 days, but I've been getting 3, sometimes even 4 weeks out of these pods, which is just absurd, without tasting burnt or anything like that. I think it comes down to making sure that you prime your coil well. So throw some juice in there, pull through it a few times. If you actually throw some juice right down into where you pull, if you throw just a tiny bit of juice down there, give it a few pulls, wait like 3 minutes or so, you'll be good to go, and I've been getting great life out of these pods. I mean, for being just a few bucks, you can't ask for much more out of a pod this size, 2 mils, that's running Nic salt all day long, and I vape very consistently off this device, and it's been lasting me 3-4 weeks. That's absolutely incredible. So overall design, pretty good. I do like the design. Some weird things. I don't know how I feel about the button. I do appreciate that they're giving you the option to use it, but it's kind of weird that I do have to turn it off even though I don't have to use the button to vape off of it. So that's a little bit unfortunate for me, but overall I'm kind of 6s on whether or not I like the button. Pods, awesome. Coils, awesome. Capacity, decent. 2 mils is going to do you just fine with salt nicks. And plus, salt nick bottles, a 10 or a 15 mil bottle fits in your pocket really easily as well, so you don't have to really worry about carrying a bottle with you if need be. Oh, last thing that I didn't mention, micro USB charging. So regular micro USB charging means if you've got another micro USB somewhere, or if you're out and about and you didn't bring your charging cable with you, it's not some weird design like the Juuls use or the Phixes use where you can never find another charger, you just have to go out and buy another one if you lose it, or if you're off on the road and you forgot your charger, you're absolutely screwed. You got to go somewhere and buy one. This is just a micro USB, which is awesome. Plenty of those laying around my house, so I never have, I never end up in a situation where I don't have a micro USB with me. That's fantastic. Way to think that through, Uwell. Like, honestly, I don't know why so many of these companies are going with weird, different chargers that you can only get from vape stores, and that you have to go out and buy a new one if you lost it. In terms of vapor production, I'd say it's pretty decent. For the size of the mod, you're 11 watts and 520 milliamp hours. That means it lasts me, you know, about a half to a full day, depending on how much I'm using it. And the vapor production is fantastic. 11 watts with this coil is exactly the sweet spot. It gives me just the right amount of vapor. I've had a lot of people who have Juuls over to my house, or when I'm out and about and they're hitting their Juul and they see me vaping on this and they ask for it and they say, wow, this hits fantastically. This feels a lot better. And I'm using a lower nicotine juice and they're feeling like they're feeling it more. So that tells me that the vapor production is much better, obviously, than the Juul. I've never really been a fan of the Juul's vapor production, but in contrast to the Juul, this Caliburn absolutely blows it out of the water. Overall, I think that this device is great value for your money. It's long lasting. I've had mine for quite a while now, and I haven't had any issues with it. The micro USB charging is awesome. The vapor production is great. The flavor off of it is fantastic as well. Just everything works on it. Everything seems like it's designed well, it's thought through, and they executed it well. So I can't bag on this thing really at all, besides the only thing that I had a little bit of an issue with is just the button. I don't know that it needs to be there, although I do appreciate it, and I'm sure some people appreciate it more than me. So, you know, to each their own. I'm going to say button, meh, but the rest of the device, awesome. Absolutely fantastic. That's all I've got on this Caliburn by Uwell. If you're interested in the device, you can always come down to the shop, 2148 South, 900 East, Suite 3, and check it out for yourself. The Caliburn is only 35 bucks, so in terms of value for your money, it's fantastic. If you're looking for something to replace your Juul, replace your Phix, looking for something that you can still do a higher nicotine concentrate at 24 or 50, 2.5%, 1.2%, whatever you're vaping. If you're vaping nic salts, higher nicotine juices, and you want something that's easy, portable, this is absolutely the device for you. I would definitely recommend you check it out. Come down to the shop, try it out for yourself, and hopefully we'll see you down here soon. Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Have a great day.
Damn.